بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم علمنا مما ينفعنا وانفعنا مما علمتنا وارزقنا الإخلاص في العمل. Today is the second part of Surah Yusuf alayhi salam. Last time we stopped where after Yusuf's brothers have had their plan, which is one, kill Yusuf, and second was throw him in a well. So they comforted their dad. They went to their dad and said, قالوا يا أبانا ما لك لا تأمنا على يوسف وإنا له لناصحون. Oh dad, how come you don't trust us with Yusuf, our younger brother? And we will indeed advise him. So if he does something wrong, we'll definitely correct him. And if he does something right, we'll encourage him. We are his older brothers. And then they say, أرسله معنا غدا يرتع ويلعب. Send him with us tomorrow. He can eat and play with us, and indeed we will protect him. So look at the persuading that they're trying to persuade their dad and convince him that, oh, they're really good to their younger brother. So Yaqub alayhi salam replies, inni la yahzununi. Indeed, if you take him, that will sadden me. I will feel sad for only not having Yusuf within my sight. And that's how much he was, that's how close he was to Yusuf alayhi salam. And after knowing that this is the son out of all his offsprings, that he will become a prophet and continue the chain of prophecy. So he says, it will make me sad to actually not see Yusuf for a few hours. Just if you take Yusuf off his side, let alone if you bring him back or not, just for not having Yusuf next to me will make me feel sad. And I'm quite afraid if the wolf eats him, because they're planning to go to, they say to their dad, oh, we're going tomorrow to the desert to eat and play. Let our brother come with us. So he says, and I'm really worried if the wolf eats him. وَأَنْتُمْ عَنْهُ غَافِلُونَ, in case you weren't aware of him, or because he's kind of neglected, as you used to going together, but this time Yusuf is with you for the first time, so you might not get used to, oh, Yusuf's here. So you just have your own conversations with the same groups and forget that Yusuf is with you. And if he doesn't feel comfortable, he'll be behind everyone, and that's when the wolf might attack him. So their response was, how will the wolf eat him? وَنَحْنُ عُصْبَةٌ, and we're a clan. Like, if the wolf sees a group of people, the wolf won't attack, but the wolf goes for individuals, and especially Yusuf as a small one. But we'll be together, so the wolf won't even get near him. And if that happens, we are losers. So just trying to convince their dad, no, that won't happen. So Yaqub alayhi salam decide to let Yusuf go with his brothers to have fun and enjoy his time. So once the plan works, they take him with them, which is the next day. Allah Azza wa Jalla says, فَلَمَّا ذَهَبُوا بِهِ وَأَجْمَعُوا أَن يَجْعَلُوهُ فِي غَيَابَةِ الْجُبِّ. On their way, they decide, okay, we'll throw him in a well. The killing it's a bit bad, so let's throw him in a well. So when they decided, Allah Azza wa Jalla inspired Yusuf alayhi salam, that Yusuf, like Allah gave Yusuf hope. What they're about to do to you, you will remind them. But once you do, they won't even recognize you. So it's a sign from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give Yusuf hope that obviously not the next few days or even a year or two time, because when they won't recognize you means that you're going to grow up and your face will change. So they'll meet you, but they won't know that you're actually Yusuf, especially that he's quite young in this part of the story. So it's kind of a hope sign of Yusuf that no matter how bad it is, don't worry. And they're not going to kill you, because you will meet them in the future. So they do throw Yusuf alayhi salam in the well, and they take Yusuf's shirt. Why? So that when they go back to their dad, they come up with their plan, which was, we'll tell our dad that the wolf ate Yusuf alayhi salam. So on their way, they bring some false blood, or a different blood from an animal that he wasn't stated what animal it was, but they took an animal, they took this animal's blood and put it on Yusuf's shirt, and they carried on to their dad. And Allah Azza wa Jalla describes, when they got to their dad, وَجَاءُوا أَبَاهُمْ عِشَاءً يَبْكُونَ, they made sure that when they come late night. Allah Azza wa Jalla describes it with the word Isha, which is what we all know, the Isha prayer, which is the late night prayer. And in Arabic, there's the word Asha, which is the late night meal, which is like in the British tradition, the supper. So they came to their dad late. يبكون, they were weeping. They're like, oh dad, you don't know what happened. So they said to their dad, we left Yusuf with our belongings and then we went to race. But once we did, we looked after few minutes, we looked back and the wolf started eating Yusuf. So we couldn't help it. Yusuf died. And they came with Yusuf's shirt, pretending that this is the actual Yusuf's shirt and that the wolf did eat him and this is Yusuf's blood. But the thing that this is all Shaitan's plan. The Shaitan is planning with them, sadly. And the Shaitan came up with this first idea of, oh, kill him. Then he came up, no, throw him in the well. And he helped them with the lie of tell your dad that you're going to go and play. And then he came up with the idea of, okay, go back to your dad and tell him that the wolf ate Yusuf alayhi salam, which is what his dad actually said in the beginning. I don't want you to take Yusuf because I'm really worried if the wolf eats him. So they used their dad's reason for not taking Yusuf alayhi salam. They again used it, which shows how silly their plan was. And some scholars say that the dumbest shaitan is equivalent to the smartest shaitan is equivalent to the dumbest human being, which generally means that they are not smart at all. They're not powerful. All they do is whisper. They come to us and whisper, oh, okay, do this, do such sin, okay, do, and then they keep doing it until we decide to do it. So it's we have the power to control ourselves, and they have no power on us or upon us. So Yaqub alayhi salam, when he saw this shirt, let alone he knew that Yusuf would become a prophet from the dream, they saying Yusuf died, which doesn't make sense. Yusuf is not dead because he will become a prophet. So that's what Yaqub was thinking. And then he saw the shirt and said, and looked at it, and sadly their plan was just, let's give our dad a normal Yusuf shirt. When Yaqub looked at it, it wasn't torn apart. There wasn't any claws or that indicate a wolf has eaten this person. That's when Yaqub knew that it's a lie. So Yaqub alayhi salam says his amazing sentence that we should learn, especially because some of us will go through hard time, whether it's exam stress, whether it's financial issues, whether it's family problems, whatever it is, and we get to a really depressing time. Listen to Yaqub alayhi salam. His words were, قال بل سوت لكم أنفسكم أمرا فصبر جميل. I know that you have planned something. And he said, فصبر جميل. All I'll do is great patience. So all he'll do is great patience. He won't scream, start shouting and act irrationally and start hitting people and expressing his sadness. No, that's what the shaitan wants us to do, but that's not what Allah wants us to do. And as a prophet, look at his reaction. He says, فَصَبْرٌ جَمِيلٌ. Great patience. He'll have that patience. Patience meaning that I know Yusuf is still alive, so I will wait and I'll be patient. فَصَبْرٌ جَمِيلٌ وَاللَّهُ الْمُسْتَعَانُ عَلَى مَا تَصِفُونَ. And I seek Allah's refuge for what you've just described. So again, he refers to Allah, and amazingly he says, I seek Allah's refuge for what you described, because I know what you described is a lie, and I know that Yusuf is still alive. So I can't help Yusuf. I don't know where Yusuf is, so I seek Allah's refuge and help to protect wherever Yusuf is. But what is within my control is my patience, my reactions. So I will be patient. And he says فَصَبْرٌ جَمِيلٌ, which is amazing. That's something that we can take from this story, how to react when bad things happen to us. So Allah Azza wa Jalla then says, now that we're done with what Yaqub and his sons bit, we'll go back to Yaqub, and Yaqub is in Yusuf, and Yusuf is in the well. So وجاءت سيارة, a caravan came. You know, in olden days, people would come in groups, and whenever they see a well, they want water. So they send the person that usually gets the water for them. He pulled his bucket out, found a child. قال يا بشرى هذا غلام. Wow, look, it's a child. So they took Yusuf as a merchandise. And Allah Azza wa Jal knew what they were planning to do, and what they did is they sold him within a reduced price because they wanted to get rid of him and they wanted money. Then who did they sell Yusuf alayhi salam to? They sold him to Aziz Misr, which means a minister in Egypt, and he was a great person. Aziz means a really great status, in a really great status within the country, in Misr, as Allah Azza wa Jalla described. This is in Egypt now, away from his dad, where Yaqub alayhi salam is in Palestine. So the guy who bought him, who's from Egypt, said to his wife, "Akrimi mathwa, treat him well, because he'll either benefit us, or we can actually consider him as an adopted son." So Allah Azza wa Jalla then says, and that's how we protected Yusuf, and we will teach him ta'wil al-ahadith, interpretations of dreams, and this is one of Yusuf's miracles. Wallahu ghalibun ala amrih walakinna akthar nas la ya'lamun. Allah Azza wa Jalla is controlled over everything. And just to go back a bit and talk about the patience, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he had his son Ibrahim alayhi salam, who died when he was really young, Prophet Muhammad cried because it's his son. And he says famous sentences that we should, again, just like Yaqub's words, we should learn and implement in our lives. There's no point of just reading it. Okay, we know it, but how would we apply it in our daily life? Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, "Inna al-ayna la tadma' wa inna al-qalba la yakhsha wa inna lifiraqika ya Ibrahim la mahzun." Meaning, indeed the eye cries when something sad happens, okay? And indeed the heart softens because of something like that happens. And indeed we are, for missing you, Ibrahim, we are sad about his son, and about that his son just passed away. But again, he didn't scream, hate himself, pull his hair, or hit the walls. No irrational actions. Really refer it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And one of the sentences that a Muslim and a mu'min should say when a bad thing happens to him, "Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un." We are to Allah, and to Allah we will return. So this is, again, it'll calm us down and remind us that this is life and we will go struggle, but just how to be patient. Because there, inna ma'al usri yusra, with every hardship there will be ease. Allah did leave ease right after it. Just be patient. So again, to end, and finally the last bit of this part of today, وَلَمَّا بَلَغَ أَشُدَّهُ آتَيْنَاهُ حُكْمًا وَعِلْمًا وَكَذَلِكَ نَجْزِي الْمُحْسِنِينَ. Allah just says, and indeed when Yusuf radiallahu alayhi salam matured, we gave him knowledge and wisdom. وَكَذَلِكَ نَجْزِي الْمُحْسِنِينَ. And that's how we grant our servants who are like Yusuf alayhi salam, who are really righteous. So after that, Allah Azza wa Jal goes to what happens between Yusuf alayhi salam and the Aziz's wife, the person who bought Yusuf alayhi salam, his wife. Something happened between them. We will we'll talk about it. It's a really amazing part of this story that I'd rather leave it by itself, talk about the lessons we can learn from. Inshallah, all that will be next time. بارك الله لنا ولكم في القرآن الكريم ونفعنا وإياكم بآياته والذكر الحكيم وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين.